Brumbaugh.
Here.
Mr. Faisy.
Here.
Mrs. Fenstermaker.
Here.
Mrs. Clyde.
Here.
Mrs. Sherry.
Here.
Make a motion to excuse Jamie.
Second.
Mr. Brumbaugh.
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mrs. Sherry.
Yes.
Mr. Faisy.
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde.
Yes. Okay, we have the minutes from April 14th on pages 1 through 3. I'll make a motion to approve minutes from April 14th, 2025.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Oh, wait a second.
Oh, are you shy?
Mr. Faisy.
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mrs. Sherry.
Yes.
Mr. Brumbaugh.
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde.
Yes. Okay, on pages 4 through 7, the March 2025 bank reconciliation. Make a motion to approve March 2025 bank rec.
Is there a second? I'll second.
Any discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Mr. Brumbaugh.
Yes.
Mr. Faisy.
Yes.
Mrs. Sherry.
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde.
Yes. And on pages 8 through 9, you have the 2025 March vouchers.
I'll make a motion to approve the March 2025 vouchers.
I'll second.
Any questions? Would you please call the roll then?
Mr. Brumbaugh.
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde.
Yes.
Mrs. Sherry.
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mr. Faisy.
Yes.
And on pages 10 through 12, you have the March 2025 gas and ERUs.
I'll make a motion to accept the March 2025 vouchers for water bill.
Any questions or discussions on the 2025 gas and ERUs? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Brumbaugh.
Yes.
Mr. Faisy.
Yes.
Mrs. Sherry.
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde.
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
And then on pages 13 through 26, the first quarter gas and ERU adjustments. Make a motion to approve the gas, first quarter gas and ERU adjustments.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Brumbaugh.
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker.
Yes.
Mrs. Sherry.
Yes.
Mr. Faisy.
Yes.
Mrs. Clyde.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you for everyone being here tonight. Originally this afternoon, it seemed pretty nice, and time for the meeting, meeting started. So, we have a couple recognized this evening. Jared Schroll, who works for the village street maintenance, and Melissa Patch, who is still here as our fiscal officer. Both of them are being recognized this evening for 5 years of service to the village. So, I'm going to go get the camera. You got a real professional now.
Well, Jared, thank you for your service. It's always an adventure with you every day.
Whoops, what was that?
You broke it already.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That's to hold it up.
Okay. Thank you.
hug.
I know.
I think the hug must be public.
That would've been better. We were too slow on it.
I know.
No, fine. Now, Jared,
You
you
want
have
to
to
go
stay
home,
here.
see mommy?
Now, Jared, you have to stay here for the rest of the
Right, yeah, that's where you're.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Jared.
Hey, do you want to go home, see mommy?
Dad,
She's not home yet. All right. Say bye to grandma.
You can do it. I'll take the photo.
Say hi, Daddy, Tammy.
No.
We're still riding the bike.
Where do you wanna go?
Is it gonna rain on us tomorrow, sir?
I think so. We're gonna lose another
Oh.
game.
I think you have to stand with me, Jared. Come on, we're in this together.
There you go. There you go.
Well, we could take a duel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's just do. You're my son. Gotta hold it up there, bud.
You have to tilt yours just a little, it has a glare.
Like that.
There you
Yours is the glare, okay, there. Okay, now Greg, you can present it.
Oh, sorry.
Well, thank you very much, Mel. We're going to miss you at the end of the next month, but thank you for the last 5 years.
You're welcome, and I appreciate working with all you guys, especially the bunch in the office every day. They're awesome.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
No, not yet. She's heading there. You say bye to
Bye,
everybody?
guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, there we go.
Bye, Reagan.
Just like you, Jared, picking his nose.
Bye, Jared. Bye, bud.
Product of his own environment, right?
I can only do so much. All right, say bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye. See
Oh,
ya.
Mrs. Shaw. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jared.
Come on.
Well, I don't see Neil out there, so I guess you.
Not see Neil.
You are all on your shoulders tonight. Paulette is here this evening to kind of talk us through this land and water conservation use. And then we probably are gonna talk a little bit about nature works at the very end.
3 minutes, jeez.
Well.
Anyhow, congratulations. You guys were one of 9 communities selected in the entire state of Ohio to receive land and water conservation funding this year. They have approved for you $320,000 in grant money to match the $300,000 that you had pledged at one of your previous council meetings. So we have a few things to, kind of get squared away with ODNR, because this is a federal grant that goes through the state, so it'll take a little bit longer to get that paperwork around. But we have already requested the environmental review by ODNR, and we have reached back out to Mr. Pettigrew at U.S. Fish and Wildlife to make sure that we've already, that he's doing the coordination that needs to be done to get this grant processed through the feds. Milestones and measures, we did talk about our dates, because we want to be as least disruptive as possible. So we're asking for permission to begin design immediately, and then January or February of 2026, we hope to go out to bid for the project. We're looking at a construction date to start after the Cookie Festival, so we're looking at about roughly July 20th, 2026. And we're asking that the contract would be completed by November 15th of 2026. At least that's kind of our working plan right now. We are working to update the boundary map, and then also one of the things, you do have our contract on your agenda tonight. According to the terms of the grant agreement, we are allowed to request a fee of 15% for design of this project. Ken and Neil over at our Defiance office think that roughly 10% is good, so that is the contract that you have in front of you. Tonight it is for $62,700. Beyond that, we're going to do a little bit of clarifying some in-kind labor that may be needed. We've talked about some things that we might want to save or relocate outside of, you know, having the contractors do that. We have some of the white fencing that was kind of recently installed. We'd like to see that relocated rather than pitched. And you've got a gorgeous Japanese maple over there, so I hope that we can find some ways to get that relocated and replanted somewhere. But again, that was not included in the grant. As soon as you guys have the final plans on where the roadway needs to connect, we'd like to get those so we can start survey work. You know, because with this Land and Water Fund, we're able to build the road and the sidewalk up to that property line. I understand that both pieces are Village of Macomb property, but we don't want to cross that property line because that would bring it into the rules of Land and Water Conservation. With Land and Water Conservation, once you have accepted their funding, you can do nothing with that parcel except park and recreation. You can't put a cell phone tower up without going to the feds and getting permission. So that's why we want to stop it right where that Village of Macomb property line is, between that property to the right and then the property that is truly already being used as the park. It kind of hamstrings you for future development if we would include that. Beyond that, you know, always we have a beautiful master plan for a variety of things you'd like to do at your park, and NatureWorks is coming up. NatureWorks, you have the opportunity, gosh, Kathy, do you remember what I said was available in the county?
It's $26,082.
Perfect. So you are able to ask for that full amount to also be put to use toward improvements in the park. And I would really recommend you do that because you can build on the funding that you already have for Land and Water to just get, you know, a couple more projects possibly done.
And I'm gonna kind of tie into that right now with Paulette. It does need to go through Hancock Regional Planning.
Okay.
No. You have to ask the commissioners in Hancock County, I believe.
Okay.
Since it's NatureWorks.
No, that only CDBG, we need county permission, technically. But if that's your protocol,
No,
I'm certainly happy to
I thought
follow
that they
it.
had to ask.
No.
Yeah, because they had
Commissioners
it
have to
assigned.
have so many numbers,
Yeah.
I think, of how many.
I believe that's
grants.
correct.
So I talked with Casey. Casey had sent me the information. Casey is willing to write the NatureWorks grant for us at no cost. Paulette is also willing to write the NatureWorks grant for us at no cost.
I'm okay if Casey wants to.
Well, in talking with Casey, both of us felt that the language that's already been written in this Land and Water, Paulette could easily take a lot of those same paragraphs and write them right into NatureWorks.
Yeah, and just, I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever really like paid attention to an application. It's just a double-sided. This is a hard copy of your application.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there's a hard copy for you. I just wanted to reference it.
NatureWorks itself, there's a lot of hoops because I finished that one for the fencing and did that one, and you have to take stuff up to the courthouse. They have to put it online that you won't do anything to your park between so many years. I mean, there's a lot of hoops. Casey is definitely not offended if we don't ask her to put this together. So I wanted to share that. Has she shared that with you as well? I said she's done a lot for the village. She's got a lot on her plate coming up with this community center. If she's okay and she's fine. So sometime tonight we need to decide if you want to do it now, if we would like Paulette to do NatureWorks for us, or if you want to go through Casey at Regional Planning. Did she share anything else with you?
It was basically that there's no hard feelings if
No,
it goes
no.
the other way, that it is, like you both said, it sounds like it's
It ties right
ties
in.
it together so it doesn't make it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Casey to do it, but she can do it.
That money, I will tell you, was not going to be marked for Macomb. It was marked for Van Buren this year, and Van Buren declined. So as soon as they declined, Casey called me.
Oh, nice.
And that's another thing that we would go a couple of years without getting that, so we won't be back to
Right.
that rotation for a while.
Right. It sounds like they kind of target a village every so often.
I got that estimate.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you're tying that in.
Yeah, you can share it.
Yeah,
I
do you
I
have
did
fencing
get
estimate?
The 380 feet at 10-foot high, galvanized chain link fence with 2 4-foot gates and 1 10-foot double gate was $23,235. That was from Jim Atkins.
Okay, does that include installation?
Yes.
Okay.
And that, the only thing would be, there would be spoils left from digging the holes, and I said that we would take care of them.
Plenty of property to put them on.
Yes.
Is that a new fence or is that to
That-
move the old one?
That
Talking
is,
around
that
the tennis
is
court.
new because it was $5,500 difference, and he felt time it's stretched,
Yeah.
he didn't think that one, we would be happy with it when it was done again,
Okay.
because it's already stretched.
So that would possibly, how much was that, 23?
$23,235.
So we could possibly use Nature Works to put a new fence
Around what?
around, if we put up another court or anything.
On the basketball court.
Do you know if
Basketball,
I think there was a
pickleball.
fencing line item for that.
It was, and it said by village.
Or did it say?
It
by
did
village?
very specifically say by village, because the intent was to reuse
Yeah, try
what,
to reuse
yeah.
what we had.
We wanted to give you credit for reusing it, so I think this would be a great way to tie it in and to get it done. And I guess that brings up another thing, we're doing, Lipstick's Land and Water project right now, and bids came in really good. So one of the things that, we were able to do, it was easy peasy, we were able to pave more of their parking lot out at Bennett Park because bids came in so well. So that's something that we'll also wanna keep in mind, if bids come in, what might our next item be, because we wanna make sure that it's still in the same kind of footprint where things are being disturbed, because that way the environmental will already work. So if you wanted to do like that second court next to the first one, that would be easy, or if there's some more paving to do. But we really do wanna keep it, in the same area, not going back and doing something in the back of the park.
Right.
So, otherwise we'd get triggered for another set of environmentals. We don't want that.
The other thing we need to think about too, we'll be asked here probably June, July for the Hancock Park grant that provided for the shelter house. So that ended up being 30. So that might be another good thing to put some of that money towards. So do you want to go back and discuss the land water conservation first? Do you?
As
As far as that contract?
Everybody has that's in the packet, right? The contract.
Yes.
So everybody has this contract?
Yeah.
29, page, it's 29.
I think the only question I had was that it didn't previously have a mention of anything basketball, there was confusion on it, and we didn't find out it was multi-purpose or whatever until later, so. I just was making sure from an expectation standpoint, I think we all expected that if we removed the asphalt court for that road, that we were gonna replace it, and I just definitely wanna make sure that that's, was somehow identified, so.
I think the language was
Yeah.
changed.
That's what kind, yeah. A lot of times, if there's more than one function on a court, default is to just call it a multi-purpose court. And then it's addressed in the specs, but yeah, we went back and changed it, I think, to add basketball
Yeah.
and
And
tennis.
Appendix A, page 9 of your packet, has basketball, tennis, multi-purpose courts.
And I think too, sometimes in grants, there's a little more leeway. You work very specific for companies, and by gosh, what's in that paper, they are expecting that.
Yeah,
Even though
and-
it says multi-purpose.
Well, it did it before, that's the thing, before it was very
Right.
specific, it
But-
definitely just said pickle and tennis.
Right, and then the actual grant that you put in.
Yeah, I
is
wrote
multi-purpose.
multi-purpose in it, yeah, because.
Which we were not privy
We
to
didn't
at the
have
time.
that, she just dropped that
So,
tonight.
Yeah,
that's
it
what all
was
was.
such a huge document, I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's also a bigger picture too, a couple of years or however much longer than when this actually takes place. There could be a change of people or what have you, and I don't want a new regime or, there was a long discussion, I think what council chose at the time should be what ends up being done, so that was also my point. But it's very, if we weren't to put a basketball court back, there would be a heavy anticipation from people complaining. They'd be like, you took it away, where's it at?
Oh, no worries, yeah, we just use the word, multi-purpose. In fact, if we work with you to do a capital budget, I would still strongly encourage you, you can do your notes in your council meeting minutes, but I would still strongly encourage you to make that language a little looser, because it could give you more options. So if suddenly there's another source of funding that comes in, that like Pickleball USA, and they say, we fund pickleball courts. By the way, they don't. They ran out of money, they haven't refunded it. But, yeah, it's just, we always try to give you a little wiggle room with the grant request. And then they hammer you down a little bit more when you get to the actual agreements, and that's what we'll be doing with DNR right now, so.
Totally understood.
Yeah.
If we do with the basketball court and the tennis court, our thinking was we'll just paint pickleball courts lines on it, so we'll have basically all three.
Yeah, you can do lines for all three if you want.
Yeah, and then we don't have a high use for tennis or pickleball. Both of those could easily be shared, and you'll have those on each of those courts, not have to create a third one.
No worries. We do have some things that will need to be moved for that.
But what you're saying is we'll still have a tennis court, pickleball court, and then also a basketball.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
exactly.
And
what we have now.
multifunctional, I mean,
Yeah.
multi-use, I understood that, because originally, like when we did it out here, we laid the pickleball out
On our tennis.
parallel on our tennis court, but with a lot of the newer designs, they run them crossways, and you just set a portable net up. And
You could
can
probably
get-
still do that.
You can get 4 on one side, or 2 on one side, 2 on another, so you get 4 total pickleball courts out of one tennis court.
It's even better. I thought we'd only be able to get
You know,
2.
in Finley, they have that where it's 2.
Yes,
I
2 and 2.
didn't know what was
Yeah.
going on out there. I thought we were doing 100%.
Can you clarify that, Paulette? How, are we having a basketball court and then a tennis court right beside that, or is it all three as one?
All three is one.
To start.
There's, yeah, to start with, there's one
One-
asphalt pad.
All right.
Yep.
One will be striped out for basketball hoops, and then striped out for tennis court. Am I following or not following?
No, there's one pad, and the
One-
they're going to basketball
Just
and
do
tennis
one.
will share the same pad.
It'll all be on one.
Yeah, it's all in one.
Okay.
Unless we come back with more money at the construction time, then we could potentially pour another one. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, if you have money left over.
And that's what I'm saying, that we do Nature Works, and it sounds like it's our money. We could look at fencing for a second one. Or no, first one.
First one.
We were picking that one. But we could also then start with the 30 grand from the park
If they
district.
give, yeah, if they
You're
give
gonna
30.
bid this early next year, so that'll help with.
Yeah, we're hoping to bid it early next year, and if
Awarding,
we
yeah.
know, that some of that other funding is coming before then, even better, because you'll have somebody mobilized and on site, and that will save you so much money than if they have to come back
The
separately
earlier
to
the
do
day,
it.
the better the price
And I-
typically.
Yeah, we wanna get in before people have their schedules
Other
set.
jobs out, so.
We don't wanna wait until June to
And try to
bid
get
and
it in.
say, you can start July
Right.
20th,
Yeah.
you know,
'Cause
20th.
their schedules are already set.
Yeah, their schedules are set.
Paula, is this something that we could then ask for capital to possibly complete a second?
Absolutely.
And it shows that that's what Macaulay wanted us to have money in it the last time. He said
Mhm.
we needed to show that we had skin in it. And so this definitely would show, because the village has put quite a bit in it,
Yeah.
and we're putting as much.
And those capital budget requests will be going in soon. I have my first meeting this coming Thursday about one.
So the timing would be pretty decent to
Yeah.
roll that.
So they need to vote that we're all right with this contract,
Correct.
correct?
And the 10%, correct. That's it within that contract, we were talking about the 10%, this contract that we were talking about.
Yeah, it's our design contract,
Design.
yeah.
Yeah. She's saying it's for 62.7, the grant is
For,
627.
Yeah, for-
620.
620, yeah.
So,
The
it's a
grade
little less
says
than
we
that.
can charge up to 15%, and I guess we're charging about 10, so.
I didn't know those courts were gonna be separate. I mean, I think the village is not gonna be happy about that, but I don't know if there's a whole lot we can do. That isn't quite what we had voted on, or what I might understand.
I thought it was gonna be separate, but I didn't.
I mean, it's gonna be really hard to police people showing up and somebody's playing basketball while they wanna play tennis. That's just arguments waiting to happen.
Can we attempt to read?
That's gonna be rough. I thought the same, you know, I'm just saying, I thought the same thing, we were.
I don't have the square footages and the pricing in here.
Both of them side by side.
I don't know how much space is down there. All of your numbers were based on like a size of an area.
Mhm.
I remember, I'm going from memory, but.
Can we work on appropriating money for next year for an additional basketball court? What would that, I don't have a dollar amount or an idea of what that would cost.
Well, yeah, that's kind of my thought, that we can just go ahead and have that as an alternate.
Okay.
In case bids come in, good, and then you can award the alternate for a complete second one, and then you can strike them, pull them, you know, however you want.
Does capital go in and then announce the first part of 26?
Capital is not truly awarded until the capital budget is signed July 1st.
And there might be some other grants out there for recreation too.
I mean, we have 7,200 square feet on this one. On the one that you,
Mm-hmm.
but the basketball court was 8,040 or something.
Well, in a full-size NBA basketball court is 90 by 60, which is 5,400 square feet. A tennis court is not a third of that size. I truly think you can get both based on your numbers, but
That'd be great.
I'm not the wizard to put those together. But I can do quick math on what a basketball court size is compared to that.
We just don't want you to be short. That's why some of the estimates are pretty generous.
Well, I'm saying if a basketball court's only 5,400 feet and if Greg's got 7,200, I'm saying I think the sizing works for both. We
Yeah,
might be
I would
short.
do both and not be sure, I follow you, okay. But it potentially would.
I'm hoping we can explore that and discuss that down the road. I mean, just to see the money.
You're gonna be
dollars,
given
the
drawings to
sizes all
review
seem-
before it goes
seem
out to
simple.
bid.
So we can tell, is Ken designing this or who's designing it?
Yeah, Neil and Ken will check it
So
out.
we could have, we'll have them come down and they say if we can get that out of that area.
Oh, Ken's not coming to a meeting.
Well.
Ken is retiring in October. Ken is not coming to an evening meeting.
But you see what I'm saying, or are we just telling you now, can
Yeah.
we see if we can get what we can get out of 7,200 square feet or 8,000 square feet or whatever.
In my head, I have it, like, it's all one thing, so that's, I'm glad you're saying all this, because in my head, I was like,
Yeah, it was all-
it's all in one, you know?
I thought it was
Yeah.
all in one.
And I don't, like
And
I
then-
said, I think we'll have some issues.
Yeah.
So, but I don't, I'm not big on knowing
Yeah.
how big a port it is, you know, there's things that I would have to know.
So
Move
you're
forward
telling
with.
me that you want a separate court for basketball
Yes.
and a separate court for tennis, pickleball?
Could that just be divided, if it's all one slab,
One-
it'd just
one
be
pad.
divided with?
One pad, right?
Yeah, I'm
Right,
okay
that's
with
what I-
that.
that's what I
all be
thought we were doing.
Done as kind of one continuous pad with some,
Yeah.
It was one pad, and then we're just gonna separate the tennis with the fencing.
Like Rob said, we're gonna get to see all of these drawings.
Yeah.
to look
Yeah.
at, too.
To move forward with it.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to approve the contract with the 10%, 62.7 to Clark Builder.
I'll second.
Any further discussion or questions?
Just with the assumption that we're gonna see the plans and all the stuff.
oh yeah, yeah. We'll make you sign off on. No, it's not just you, we make everybody sign, review
Oh,
and
yeah.
sign off on
It's part of the
documents
process.
before it goes to bid, yeah, that's responsible.
Would you call the roll then, please?
Mr. Brumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Fazy?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Okay, now, let's go ahead and decide what you want to do with Nature Works so that
I did
Paulette
the fencing.
knows whether she should be working on that, figuring that out, or if we want to go back to Casey.
I'll make the motion and have Colette write the Nature Works grant.
Second.
Sorry. My name's Sarah.
It's copy. I was told it was just copy and paste.
Well, there is a lot of that, but a lot of it we can use
You
from
guys
our
are
old
funny.
map.
No, this'll be a weekend, a bottle of wine, thing up the time.
Thank you
Lake
for
water's
doing
too
this.
cold yet.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you guys do have some legislation in front of you. If you can pass that tonight, I'd like to attach it when we submit, as opposed to a
We
follow-up.
need to call the roll on that. We have a first and a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wait.
For her to.
The Nature Works,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Nature
do the
Works
nature
to go
works.
through Pine Culvert.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Brumbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherrick?
Yes.
Mr. Fazy?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
We have legislation tonight
Needs to be passed around.
that needs to be, apply and accept interviewing, filling the Nature Works grant resolution.
I'm thinking
So we can,
Just a reminder with Nature Works, it is 75% grant and 25% local match. Your local match can be in kind or it can be cash. Just for you guys to be aware of that before you pass your legislation. So what we'll do is if you choose to do the fencing, we're going to take your estimate and we're going to inflate that because he's still gonna have to bid on it. So we're gonna inflate that a little bit and use that as the base for the estimate. It'll be attached.
Which I don't think it matters, but he did put in his little estimate that it was regular wage. This wouldn't be any,
Nature Works isn't over 250, so I don't think you fall into federal, or you don't fall into prevailing wage.
that's what I thought. but I-
Yeah. Yeah.
we can use in kind if they tear the old wood out and all of that.
Your trucks to take the spoils and dispose of them,
That we're done.
absolutely. So what I'll be doing though is, we'll work these numbers, so we ask for the full amount that's available to Hancock County, not, you know, just a portion of it. Free.
Anything else, Paulette?
No.
Any other questions?
go talk about a fire station.
Where at?
Over in Payne.
Hmm.
They need some storage space, so.
So they're not building a whole new one?
Not a whole new one, no.
Okay.
Sadly, there's not that much funding to help with that.
Okay.
But, they are gonna be looking at doing a storage building for some of their vehicles, so they're not on the other side of the track.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Paulette.
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna just wait till that resolution.
Yeah.
Okay. She gave me the thumb drive if anybody wants that shot. I don't know. Yeah, we've not seen it. Thank you. Committee reports. Haley, Park and Recs.
I don't remember.
It's in front of you, 27, 28, I mean, I know.
Really just checking in on the things we discussed previously, the tennis court parking blocks, the field scheduling, that was going well. The stone, I did see that up at the first field, that looks good, it's nice to have that up there. And then the scoreboards, and then the pool, we've had 2 applications that have been turned in, and then we do have a manager, an assistant manager, as of now. We will be offering swim lessons, we're just waiting to get a schedule, or I guess, more information on that. And then that's about it.
Did they ever find those scoreboard controller things?
For what?
I have a little update on that.
1 and 2?
I did contact our insurance. He took all the information, he called me the other day and wanted the estimate of what new ones were. I sent them to him, but I have not heard anything, but it is a $500 deductible. So, if they cover them, I mean, at least it might just be $500.
Do we think the school would pay the 500 since they're the only ones that use it?
I could ask.
I mean, I would think to have them, they'd pay 500, I mean, they're the only ones that had it open.
Especially because what they cost without it being covered through insurance.
So what, they just come up missing?
Yeah, both of them.
They're
We
not-
haven't had them all season.
They weren't in this shed up here?
That's the last place I think someone said they saw them, was at that shed at Diamond 2.
Yeah.
It was right when they started with practices, it was in a 2-week, we decided it was between a 2 to 3 week window. The last person saw them on the shelf and that's when they saw them.
But I have not heard back from the insurance, but it sounded promising on the phone, but I don't know.
Do we make people sign them in and out in the future? Or how do we, I don't know if they do.
The weird thing is, that this is the first, how long have
Not a
they
good
been
way.
there? The first
I
year
know,
we've had an
right.
issue with it, so it's,
Right.
I don't know.
But all it takes is one time where somebody leaves something
Yeah.
unlocked, right? And then all of a sudden, someone enters and sees a value there, right?
Or you have.
Or knows about it.
You have the high school sign something.
Pardon me?
To have the high
Yeah.
school sign something.
Beginning of the year that they're responsible for it.
If they're using them, and they come up missing, then they're responsible.
That would-
Yeah, because they're the only ones,
That would cover the
Only
fact
ones that
of
use it.
Yeah.
individual people
Right.
signing out, just have the school sign off on the liability of replacing it if you're lost, stolen, broken.
yeah, it's definitely worth looking into.
I mean, you're asking the school for $500 for 2 controllers that are probably
How much were they?
$2,200.
$2,200 a piece, right?
Well, $1,100 a piece.
$1,100 a piece, so still, that's not very much.
Which that was
And considering
before-
that we're carrying insurance to cover that. there
Everything.
isn't.
Right.
I don't know what it is now. So,
We negotiate them every day, so who knows?
okay.
Well, it's good to know, at least give us something. Right now, it's nice because all these teams have Game Changer and it keeps going that way, but it's still be nice to have.
I've had somebody complain about it.
Did you? Not surprised.
I know the controllers for the back won't work up front. I'll tell you that right
You
now.
still gotta go down for.
Yeah, those.
So is there a motion then to approve the minutes for Parks and Recs?
Motion to approve the April Parks and Rec meeting minutes.
Second.
Can you call the roll,
Testamaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherrick?
Yes.
Mr. Basic?
Yes.
Mr. Grunwald?
Yes.
And Hanley, tomorrow night is Park and Rec at 5:30.
Did we do 6? 5:30.
5:30.
We did 5:30? I think it's 5:30.
5:30, okay. I'm going to be here.
Yes,
What
5:30.
time's the T-ball start?
6, unless we get rain. 6? 6? Okay, 3rd.
It shouldn't take, I don't think there's anything urgent, unless you guys have anything to add, but.
No. Okay, PMP, Mike.
Yep, the PMP report for 4/15/2025. Jeremy was present and stated there were 19 runs in March, and the first half of April has already resulted in 15 runs. Looks like everything else went as planned. I think I know Val's out on vacation, so Jamie's gonna, Jamie presented the reports and took the minutes. And then at this point, normally we have a contract with Jackson Township in Wood County. So we have a lot of discussions on the table for calculating a long-term contract with them, hopefully, so. That's
Okay,
it.
thank you. Fire district, Mike?
Yep. And now, okay, so on this one, and I wasn't present for this one either, but the 4:15 minutes for 2025 of the joint fire districts. I know Sam was out and Anthony Stabler is temporarily filling in Sam's absence. And the minutes were presented for the last meeting, motion is approved, seconded, and all in favor. And then the following reports were presented for receipts, payments, and so on and so forth. Pay the bills, okay. And then Anthony gave an update on the chief and his absence and due to medical reasons. And then there was 15 runs, and 6 of those runs were to assist the squad. New member updates as none at this point. And yeah, I'm good.
Okay, any questions for Mike? Thank you. Sarah, the cemetery.
I wasn't at this meeting, but I got the minutes from Val, and I think I forwarded them out today, and then when I was reading through them, there's a correction down here, but I'll get to that one. We have new rules and regulations that were approved that will be sent out with everybody buying a new grave, and then I think they're gonna post a sign out of the cemetery just saying that we have new ones due to the stone and mulch situation.
It's posted.
Is it posted? Yes, all right.
Is it just getting out of hand? Not
Yeah,
done very well?
some people are getting crazy with it, and it's a lot to go around and maintain.
Yeah, it's out of Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The board did make a decision to hire Melissa Patch as the fiscal officer. In the minutes, Melissa, I don't know if you noticed that, but it said you were fired already. I didn't hire, it says fire. So I called Val, I was like, that was fast. I didn't look at it, and that's the one approved that way, okay. With the correction of it saying hire. So Melissa will start taking over from Val in that transition period. Will begin in May, if I have that right. And that the village has agreed to allow the cemetery to use the storage room to hold cemetery records and serve as an office for the cemetery, which I'm assuming is the back room back here.
Yes, they keep things back there.
Other than that, that was pretty much it.
Our storage that was overly stuffed back there is now Mr. Potts' old office, and cemetery moved in here. So that's worked out well. People need to deal with cemetery, they have a nice private office.
And that was Finley keeping our records then, currently for all the other taxes and stuff.
24/4.
Yeah, okay.
And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Mike, do you want to just talk about your military one tonight?
Yep, real quick. Yeah, we postponed the one on the 5th, and moved it to Tuesday on the 6th. But we went through the complete listing of, all the names, and everything is sorted out by groups of family members, and then also in alphabetical order to a point. Then we also had, I believe, about 15 new applications from that made it in for this year, and got banners in for them. And I think right now, I think we're right around between 116 and 117. And so we go, we've established the routes and the poles and stuff. So at this point, we're going to have probably about maybe 2 or 3 poles spare. And we're covering Main Street all the way from city limits to east to west, or west to east, I mean. And then also we are covering Park Drive Street from 235 north, city limits, all the way to south city limits. And then also going Oliver Street, and then coming across and picking up South Main, and then turning around and picking up South Street all the way from down to Golf Course, all the way down, and then heading out of town. So it's going to start getting a little
Do they
interesting.
have the capacity to put that many up?
What's that?
Do they have the capacity to put that many up, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
It's a lot.
don't take them.
No, they don't take them long, especially when the brackets are already there. The long ones, are, the ones that'll take a little bit extra is the getting the new brackets put on some of the poles. And those are basically on South Street, from High Street down to Raider Road, or the
Okay.
Golf Course Road there. Yeah.
And those will be up before the Memorial Day parade, right?
Yep.
Well,
We worked with it today.
I didn't know it was gonna rain every day this week.
Right.
But it was gonna start this week.
I stopped and met with Greg this morning, and was going over the mapping. I'm gonna do some stuff to help clean things up a little bit, to make things a little bit easier to understand. But yeah, all good
So
stuff.
hopefully no one will complain this year that the family wasn't together.
Yeah.
The things people find to complain about. We'll find out.
So thank you.
The new banners, they're just mingled in, right? 'Cause I think in the past.
The new banners they're not mingled in, they're at the end.
They're at the end. Okay.
So what'll happen is you'll go, other than the special ones, right? The 4 or 5 that were special, we'll do those. I would say do those first, that way they're done, and then the way when you come to the pole, then you don't have to worry about it, right? But then, the new ones, after everybody's done, they go from that point to the end.
They get to drive the town, figure out where they're at.
Oh, we'll be able to tell you where they're at.
I know you will, but
But
We're gonna give them a street.
maybe we could put a map of it
Yep,
online.
Go down that street.
Yep.
I hope they're paying attention.
I
to
started
us.
doing a Google map. I have a my Google map going where I have all the points for all the poles on it. So I'll be able to go back and actually put names to it
I didn't
if
know
they
you
wanted to
could do
share.
that.
Oh, yeah. Go to my Google Maps, and you just set it your own thing, just put the points on it. Yeah. All good.
Thank you. On to old business. I do have one item. If you recall when Sheriff Cortez was here, he mentioned about moving their contract to a calendar year from like January 1st to December 31st. Our current contract was June 1st through May 31st, which was in mid-year. So the new contract is what he's requesting is January 1st to December 31st. So obviously, if we agree to this, that adds, what, about 6 months onto the contract. The price did decrease, as he said, when he was here. The old price we were paying was $47.41. And the new one, he has less discount by sheriff of minus $2.41 for a total of $45 per hour. So it is up to you if you want to change that to a calendar year.
So if we do, and we bring them on now, we have to back charge from the first?
No, we're paid up, we are paid on our other contract through May 31st.
Okay.
June 1st would officially start a new one for us, but like Sheriff Cortez said, he would like to get all of the villages that they take care of all on a January 1st through December.
I got you. Okay. Hours and everything still stay the same other than the rate at
Yes.
this point? Okay.
I went through it and double checked everything to make sure that it was identical.
Okay.
So a little less money, a few more months if you choose to change that contract.
I don't see a problem with it. I mean, I understand.
We'll need a motion then.
Yep, I understand. I'll make a motion to approve the run calendar year for starting January 1st to December 31st.
I'll second.
Any further discussion or questions?
And it'll just be in effect as of June 1st, though.
Pardon me?
It'll be in effect as of
Right.
June 1st.
Yes, but
Okay.
following year will start January. Yep.
You want to call the roll then, please?
Mr. Brumbaugh?
Yes.
Mrs. Klein?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenstermaker?
Yes.
Mr. Fazy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other old business? New business, I guess we covered the first one. Any other new business?
Greg, you have in your report to cover the bid, the media center, right? Is that what we can talk about then?
Yeah, I mean, we can do that now, or we're gonna
I
talk
don't know if
about
that's
it.
considered old business or new business. Old because it was a brand new,
Right.
because you got to move forward with it. I sent out an email today, I'm not sure if everybody had a chance to read it, but it was regarding that, bid tabs for that, which is Greg's got it in the back page of his report. My opinion with it, just with having the experience with the projects, either way we're looking at this, we're spending the money. We have to pay the money, or we're just stuck with a shell of a building. So it would be my recommendation, or I don't know, if we can discuss it before, there's a motion on the table, if everybody has opinions, but to award Helms with lowest and best because of including the alternates.
Including the alternates?
Yeah.
So I guess, are you worried that if we, my honest opinion is that I would truly believe, and I would ask someone else with 30 years of experience, that we could get many of these things cheaper than listed here.
My concern with that is, I don't know how, like, if we're talking $20, $30, $40, $50,000, then I understand it, but if we're talking taking $10,000 off, I don't see the point.
Across
Simply-
all of those things, the interior build out, the HVAC, the plumbing, the electric,
But just simply because these are all within, I mean, like the one is kind of out there, Schindler's is out there, but like they're all within, Metzger's had a different scenario there, but like they're all, I mean, two comparable companies are kind of close in the
I think
price.
it's also their savviness of knowing what the market is.
Right.
They're not foolish. And
Right.
they know where numbers fall, job after job after job after job. And they have the opportunity to see these numbers after selections are made. It's public knowledge, they can see who their competitors were.
Right.
And I'm just speaking, it was my expectation, knowing that if we didn't get all of that covered, that maybe, yes, the building would be unfinished.
Yeah, and that was my
I don't-
understanding too, but my thought here is we have to spend the money either way with it. We will not be able to do anything to this building until the end of July of 2026. The building, the grant project has to be completely finished before we touch any of those 5 items.
Yeah, we knew that.
So we
I
wouldn't
was
be
that,
able to
I
do
had
that.
that understanding.
But my thought was, now that we have dollar amounts in front of us, if we knew we were gonna spend the money, from the people I talked to, wouldn't it just make sense to do it all at once? I mean, these projects, as far as you're gonna put these in as the building's going up, right?
So these items in the base bid, you're not
You're
really.
getting rough-ins,
That's
right?
it, through the slab.
Through that, and that's it.
That's it. That's it. You're not getting an electrical panel, which is your service for breakers in this number, in the base bid.
Right, in the base bid, but
Correct.
we could have the whole entire thing done for an additional $400,000.
Potentially.
Right.
It could also be a lot less than that. We won't know unless you at least put more thought into it. And I would try to do that now, or, I mean, I wouldn't wanna make a rash decision. I don't know what other people think, but I do think that, number one, if these people are doing it right, this is all prevailing wage.
That's correct.
And half of them are, I would argue that all of
So-
them are non-signatory to a union contractor, so they're probably not paying their people that amount.
The top.
If they're not, they're paying that because prevailing wage requires you to do that.
Right. The top 2 items we're still gonna need bid out, is because they're above the 75,000 threshold. So you're gonna have to bid those out, and they'll still
Yeah.
have to fall under the state prevailing wage, which is pretty comparable to the, federal prevailing wage. So I understand what you're saying, and I do.
The top
I
2
do-
or 3?
Well, depending on which numbers you're looking at, top 3, but if you fall over under Schindler, they drop under the 50, or under that, so it does. I understand the fact of saving money.
I asked Casey, I sent her an email, and maybe I was in a gray area, and I told her to tell me if I was, because I didn't want to do anything inappropriate. She didn't email me back, so I called, talked to her today, and I asked her exactly what you're saying. I said, well, what I see is, okay, we have a base bid, and I don't want to pay all those overtures and all these alternates, like the 20%, the 10%, that we've seen in that. And she told me they don't see that. That was made up by the engineered cost.
Mhm.
She goes, these numbers won't, because I asked her, I said, well, I'm thinking I can get these cheaper. Because I go, can I reach out to them right now and negotiate something? Okay, say we wanted to go with Helms, and I reach out to them, you're at 122, what can we do? And she said those numbers wouldn't change, because they don't have like what we've seen, like, we're like, man, this thing is like 40% over cost.
Right.
I'm just telling you what she told me. She said that's not the case. This is what they're gonna bid on. No matter if that was, the only thing was the Davis Bacon. That was the only difference she foreseen in those numbers. So that's what she told me, and I'm just telling you what she told me. Because I emailed her and I was trying to figure a way, because I feel the same way, that I think we should be able to get this cheaper, but apparently
Well,
you can't.
As it stands now, we only have $697,000 for this grant.
Correct.
That doesn't, if anything above that, we're paying out of our own pocket. Which, after conclusion of the grant, we don't have to select any of these alternates with these companies. After the job's over, we can go and hire whoever you'd like in the area. Right?
Yeah.
My
That-
thing is,
that
like,
is-
if we have
that
a
is my
shelf
thing.
sitting there for
2
a
years.
year or whatever, one, community's gonna complain. We've been talking about this community center for a couple of years now, and they're gonna just be like, why is it not finished, why, and then nobody talks about everything that's going on. So I guess in my opinion, I'm with Sarah on that, is if we can get it all done by July, was it July?